The Boston Celtics almost set 2 records in their blowout win over the Atlanta Hawks, and we probably should have seen this thing coming. It's all right now on a bonus Locked On Celtics podcast.
Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners. Big.
Welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics, and I talk about them every Monday through Friday, plus bonus podcasts like this one, which I am doing from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta after the Celtics blowout win. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast, watch the show on YouTube, and join me on a daily basis. If you're new to the show, I'm John Karalis, beat writer for the Celtics on SI. Yes, I've joined Sports Illustrated. Thank you to everybody at Boston Sports Journal. I'll get more into that a little bit later on, but my work is now found at the Celtics on SI page, so go check it out there. I've been covering the Celtics now for about 20 years. I've been doing this podcast for 10. I've written a couple of books about this team. It's a bonus podcast here where the Celtics beat the Atlanta Hawks 132-106. Later on, I'll get into the defense, the hot shooting, and all of that stuff. Sam Hauser, really funny about nearly setting a record and chasing a record, which really ended up being the funniest part of this whole game. Let's just start this. I want to be fair to the Atlanta Hawks here, because I didn't even realize this coming into the game. This was their first game back from a long road trip, and the Hawks didn't need anything else to kind of hold them back, right? They've been having a tough season, bunch of injuries. They traded Trae Young, all of that stuff. And then they just came off a big West Coast swing. This was a Saturday night game here in Atlanta. Thursday night, they were playing in Portland. So that Portland to Atlanta flight is one of the longest flights. Only the Florida teams have longer flights, or New Orleans is probably longer too. But that's just tough. It's tough to do. And I want to be fair, because when I say, I'll gladly bring that up when the Celtics have their first game back from a long road trip, and it hurts them for sure. So for the Hawks, especially a team in the Hawks situation, to come in and have that be something that they had to deal with on top of playing the Boston Celtics, the second seed in the East, that's that made things a lot tougher for them, and it showed. They didn't look great coming out. The Celtics got a big first quarter from Jaylen Brown at 18 points. At one point, it was 18-18. Jaylen Brown and the Hawks were tied with one another. So Jaylen came out with a focus, which I thought was important, because he mentioned at the team shoot-around that this was the time of the year you have to lock in mentally, because mentally you start to wane around this time of year. He admitted, this is the January doldrums. Your body starts to not feel great, and so your mind starts to give in to some of the excuses. I feel a little worn down. I feel this pain, this whatever. And for him to say that in the morning and then come out and play like this, I think it's a kind of a response to his last couple of games. That last game in Miami, that first half, he was just god awful, and he hasn't had a great, his last 5 games, the numbers have been kind of bad for him, or not as good, right? He had that big December where he thought, I should have been player of the month. And then he goes into January and he starts to struggle. The turnovers go up, the shooting goes down, just the points go down, the overall production takes a little bit of a step back. So it was good to see Jaylen come in and have this kind of production here right away. 18 points in the first quarter, came out in the second quarter. He had an extended rest in the second quarter, because the Celtics second quarter was incredible. 52 points. So when I say at the top, almost 2 records, the Celtics almost set a record for their highest scoring quarter of all time, which was 54, and that was back in 1970. 52 points in the second quarter. That is outrageous, to score 52 points in a quarter. But you got hot shooting from Sam Hauser, hot shooting from Anthony Simons. Baylor Shireman kicked in a couple. Then Jaylen takes comes in and plays 5.5 minutes in the second quarter and drops 11 in that amount. So he has 29-point first half, and the Celtics put up, they outscore the Hawks by 24 in the second quarter. And at that point, The third quarter they got rolling. It was just they got up by 40, I think 40-41. And then at the end of the game, garbage time in the entire fourth quarter for the most part. They weren't exactly going for, they weren't playing their crispest basketball. Sam Hauser started chasing the 3-point record. So that was, I think, where things got, it was still a 26-point win. So, big run in the fourth quarter to cut the game to 26 by the Atlanta Hawks. So Jaylen was obviously very good. 14 of 30. He's the only one who didn't shoot great from three. Everyone else, a couple of 0 for 1s in there, but he was 2 of 9. Everyone else was good, but Jaylen got to the line 12 times and hit 11. So I think this is the type of night, that he wanted. He only 1 turnover. That's huge because he's been averaging over the last 5 games almost 5.5 turnovers. So this is a nice 1 turnover game to kind of bring those averages back down to normal for him. 6 rebounds, 2 assists, a block. Nice game. Plus 36, second highest on the team. Nimi was a plus 39. Derrick White was a plus 36. So Jaylen, 41 points in 29.5 minutes was not bad. Nice night for him. Sam Hauser. All right. Sam Hauser was unconscious in this game. He's the other big reason why they won by this many. He gets going. He was 6 of 6 in the second quarter from 3. The Celtics in the second quarter, when I talk about hot shooting, they were 11 of 15 from 3 in the second quarter. And I should mention, by the way, if you're listening to the show and you hear background, I can't tell if the background noise is coming through. There's a lot of cleanup going on here at the State Farm Arena. So if you hear any of that, then I apologize. If you don't hear any of that, then whatever my audio settings are top notch because there's a lot of noise back here. Anyway, Hauser was fantastic. And the second quarter, like I said, they were 11 of 15. Hauser was 6 of 6 from 3. Simons was 3 of 4. And, they shot 19 of 25 overall. Like when I said, Jaylen Brown came and played 5 minutes and 34 seconds, shot 4 of 6 overall. Hauser was 6 of 6. Nimi was 2 of 3. Baylor 1 of 1. Derrick 2 of 3. Simons 4 of 5. The only person who took a shot and didn't score was Luka Garza. He missed 1 3-point attempt. But he did have an assist in that quarter. So a lot of positive things in that quarter. But Sam gets going. Later on in the game, he had I don't know if it was Simons who missed. Might have been Simons who missed a right wing above the break 3. Atlanta gets the rebound. Sam Hauser gets a steal, turns, spins, flicks it up, goes in. I think that was his 7th 3-pointer. And it just was oh, wow. Oh, wow. You're having that kind of night. And he got himself up to 10. Obviously, the team record is 11 for Marcus Smart. Marcus survives. Marcus Smart is such a good defender that he somehow telepathically prevented Sam Hauser from getting the 11th 3-pointer because Hauser wanted it. He knew it. So Hauser has I'm sure this video is online. Hauser has the post-game press conference. And so right away, I asked the first question. I was like, so you're at 10 3-pointers. And he goes, oh, here we go. he knew that was the first thing that was happening because he was just firing. So he took 21 3-pointers, which is just an incredible number. 10 of 21, which is the most 3-point attempts anybody's ever taken without taking a 2-point shot. And he was joking after the game. He's like, why would I take any 2-pointers if I'm sitting at 10 3-pointers? Which, fair enough. At that point, you're up 40. You're at 10 3-pointers. Go for the record. Why not? Just go for the record. And look, Joe Mazzulla let him go for it. Which, listen, Sam Hauser has been asked to do a lot of things. He is defending really well. He is doing a lot of work out there, and he's doing everything Joe Mazzulla is asking. Letting Sam go for a 3-point record out there is like the least that Joe could do. It's like a very nice kind of coaching move to say, look, we ask you to go out there and guard and do things you're uncomfortable with and play this physical basketball, and you do it, you know, like, I mean, you do your job. You do what you're supposed to do. So here you are sitting at 10 3-pointers. I'm going to let you in. I'm going to keep you in. You've got like a couple of minutes to go for it. And Sam went for it. He certainly went for it and didn't get it. So he was just like, he's joking. Like, yeah, at that point, I was just throwing him up there and seeing what could happen. Look, some of the 3-pointers that he hit were very similar to the ones he was taking at the end. But he said he just got dead tired. And I was joking. I'm like, we're going to see you on the injury report with a stiff shoulder in Detroit because of all the shots you put up. So he's look, 30-point night, still 10 of 21 shooting from 3 is incredible shooting anyway. But think about it, he missed 6 in a row, so he was 10 of 15 at one point from 3. So I will say this about the 3-point shooting: the numbers look like, oh my God, they were just throwing them out there. That's not how it went. I'll finish the podcast. This is a bonus podcast. It'll be a little shorter. And not, what am I going to talk about? A 40-point win over the Atlanta Hawks. I'll finish the podcast with the hot shooting, the 3-pointers they generated, and the defense when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by DoorDash. Season's heating up. DoorDash has a way to keep fans in their bag all the way through it. Whether you're watching the highlights, the tunnel fits, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes the whole season fun because every player has their bag, and with DoorDash, you have one too. DoorDash keeps your snacks stocked, your gear fresh, and the watch party vibes absolutely on point. I know fans in Atlanta here, their team stressed them out in this game. So there's going to be a lot of like drowning your sorrows in desserts. A lot of people are going to be using DoorDash. I'm sure the DoorDash driver is going to be busy tonight bringing them some desserts or maybe some beverages to, you know, for the late night. When you are staying up late for a late game, you suddenly need some chips, some snacks. DoorDash is built exactly for that. So from tip-off to overtime, stay in your bag and order on DoorDash. Get snacks, drinks, gear, whatever you want through the season, delivered right to your door. DoorDash in your bag all season long. Today's show also brought to you by FanDuel. Open up the FanDuel app every Friday from 6 to 7:30 because that's NBA happy hour on FanDuel. So Friday nights are even better. Right before the game tips off, you get a new way to kick off the weekend. There are new like specials. There are boosts. There are bonuses. There are surprises. The NBA happy hour is your official pregame. It's a limited time window every Friday from 6 p.m. Eastern to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So when there's a game, it's your pregame. But if there's, you know, whatever you want, it's Friday night, 6 to 7:30, open up that app to get your boosts, your bonuses, and surprises. It's an easy way to check the weekly specials right before tip-off and make a move before the window closes. So right before tip-off from 6 to 7:30, check out what's dropping on the NBA happy hour. When you sign in on FanDuel, you're going to get an alert to set your limit, set your budget. Whatever your disposable income is, whatever you would normally be spending on a night out, that's your budget. Set that, stay within that, gamble responsibly, have some fun. Hopefully you're winning, but if you hit a cold streak, FanDuel will stop you, and you can pick it up again later when you get some more money. So check it out, NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. I do appreciate you making this the number one Celtics podcast in the world, on the number one sports podcast network in the world. So thank you so much for doing that. If you want to become an everydayer, or you are an everydayer, joining me every Monday through Friday, join the Everydayer Club. You get access to our Discord server, free audio, free podcast audio, which is compatible with all of your, Apple, Spotify, all the major podcasting apps. So that's $5 a month at lockedonceltics.supercast.com, or $50 for the year if you want to subscribe and pay up front. Like I said, ad-free audio, Discord server access, merchandise drops, all that stuff is on the Everydayer Club. So go check that out. So the hot shooting, the Celtics shot 22 of 52, which is over 42% from three. Now, really subtract the 6 3-pointers that Sam Hauser was blatantly chasing the record. That doesn't really count towards this. The Celtics generated, there was 22 of 48, let's say. They were generating good shots. I don't think they overdid it when it came to 3-pointers. I thought this was, they did a really good job creating the shots, the 3-point looks. They took advantage of Atlanta's defense, which was a lot of 2 on the ball, a lot of helping. They were really overreacting, I think. Might have been the fatigue, might have been just, bad execution, whatever it was. I mean, Sam was left alone. Sam was, on a heater all night long, and he was consistently finding himself open from 3. It wasn't until Sam was, clearly trying to break a record that they stuck with him and didn't let him get going. So that was, I thought the offense, the shot generation was really good. And obviously they got to the free throw line. A couple of bad things. The turnovers, too many turnovers at 17 for 19 points. They give up too many offensive rebounds. Not really going to say anything more about that other than to acknowledge that it happened and not gloss over it because they won. But the defense was good. Again, the Hawks, in a tough situation, they shot 37%. They might have shot 37% no matter what. But because of the turnovers and offensive rebounds, the Hawks got 102 field goal attempts, which is a lot. And that's the type of, you lose that margin by 11, you're going to find yourself, generally speaking, in a much tighter game. So the defense stepped up for sure, did a good job. The rebounding, what could have been better, but the Celtics still found their way to 44 defensive rebounds because there were so many missed shots. So shout out to their defense. I think the defense did a good job. Individually, Derrick White had a quiet game with 7 points, but only took 4 shots. He didn't need to shoot. He had 12 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals for him, which, the blocks are always a big thing, and he had one of those as well. The 3 steals, he's really the chase down, back tap steal for Derrick is becoming almost as effective a weapon as the block shot. He's doing that a lot this year. He's just it was actually a nice night for him. Plus 36. Sometimes you just don't need to score. And that, this was one of those nights. So he did a good job. Kato was okay. I didn't think he was all that great, but he was okay. 14 points, 5 of 7. Couple of tough, he only had 1 turnover. There were a couple of tough fumbles that kind of cost him a couple of shots, but he was okay. Shireman was okay too, starting in place of Peyton Pritchard, who didn't play with an ankle thing. So Shireman was 3 of 6 from 3, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals for him. So that's nice. He's gotten a couple of starts and he's been okay. Simon's cooking off the bench, 14 points, 50% shooting across the board, couple of rebounds. So he had a nice night. Yeah, that's it. That really, there's not much more to talk about here on a Saturday night here in Atlanta. I think about 20 minutes of this podcast talking about this game. This is about enough. Jaylen Brown was awesome. Sam Hauser was on fire. The Celtics couldn't miss. That second quarter was, an ungodly, wow performance. And the Hawks just never had a chance. They probably were going to lose this game anyway because of the schedule, but the Celtics made sure they never had a chance. Nice focused game after the last few, which have been kind of iffy. This was a nice focused, go out there, do your job, win the game. Good job, right? Did your job. Not much more to talk about. Monday is going to be fun because it's the Pistons. It's MLK Day. It's 8:00. It's the 1 versus the 2. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I want to end the podcast by saying just thank you to Greg Bedard at Boston Sports Journal. I've spent the last 5 years of this podcast, introducing myself as a beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I have left. I am taking over the coverage on the Celtics on SI page for Sports Illustrated. So I'm excited about that move. Happy to be in charge of all of their Celtics coverage on SI, and very happy to kind of take that in a different direction. I know that SI has had, a kind of a weird transition over the years. I feel like that this is part of a strategy to kind of rebuild the brand. I grew up on Sports Illustrated. I grew up on the writing in Sports Illustrated. It's probably part of what shaped my personality and why I love sports and why I think about sports the way I do and why I write the way I do. So there have been so many great writers there. Now, all of my stuff's going to be online on the On SI page, but to help, I hope, bring some, bring that respect back to Sports Illustrated and the online brand is going to be a real kind of focus for me. I'm excited to do it. My first piece is published today. So if you want to, obviously if you follow me on social media, you'll see my links, but I'm excited to move forward there at Boston Sports Journal. And congratulations to Jack Simone, who's taking my spot over at Boston Sports Journal. He's going to crush it there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So media moves here on the Boston Celtics beat, but very happy to be joining SI. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the podcast, I'm obviously staying with the podcast. Nothing changes here. So just enhancing everything. So very happy to be here at State Farm Arena for this. I know it's kind of been like a weird camera angle. You just see my profile a lot as I look at my computer, but they're cleaning up down there, and I can kind of show you a little bit of the cleanup. The rims are down, all of that stuff. So everything's being put away. So that's it. That's the podcast. I do appreciate you being with me every Monday through Friday. Bonus podcasts like this when they play on Fridays and Saturdays. So make sure you're subscribed, watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section now. I would love it if you shared the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.